clips you're about to see are some of the questions asked in the Q&A after Terrifier 3 screening with the actor who played Art the Clown and the actress who played Vicky.
When I read part one, I did not know that Damien was gonna actually show everything he was talking about in the hacksaw scene. So I was like, oh wow, I just thought that was just there for our own benefit, just to know what's happening. He's like, oh no, we're gonna show all that. I'm like, what? I was like, okay, wow, this is gonna be interesting. But I mean, in part three, he went through like, I think 14 versions of the script, and like the whole ending was even much darker than what y'all got, and it's only because we ran out of time. There was no way we were gonna be able to film that huge ending that he had prepared, but there were some.
I think it was 20 pages.
Yeah.
And it ended up getting cut down to like 8 to 10.
Yeah.
Well, so as a fan of The Gate, anybody know that 80s film The Gate? I love when a hole opens up in somebody's living room, right? That's always fucking cool. So does anybody have any questions? You can just shout it out. Yes, ma'am.
What was both of y'all's favorite things to film? Like what scene was y'all's favorite?
I will always go back to, in any Terrifier film,
Yeah.
I'll go back to Terrifier because I had a face then and I could actually see people and have fun. But that was a lot of fun I had on Terrifier because there was like 5 people in the crew and it was like David and I in all the scenes. We were just like, and Damien and I and David would be waiting for the lights to get set up and it would take it would take an hour, 2 hours sometimes. So we had nothing to do and we would just be riding around on little bicycles and having a lot of fun. I wish I could say that I had a lot of fun shooting scenes for Terrifier, but like I said, usually I had the prosthetics on or I was extremely sick during the process of filming. So the making of Terrifier was my favorite probably time that I've had.
I would say my favorite scene I got to film was the bar scene in part 3 with Santa. I think that was just pure joy for me, and Damien just really let me go crazy in that scene and just play. And then I also got to do a scene with these men I've watched in movies my whole entire life, like Danny Roebuck and Clint Howard and Bradley Stryker. And he just gave us a lot of freedom. He was like, hey, I wrote these words, but you guys feel free to like add things. And so they did, and we just played for several days, especially Danny and I, when he's doing that whole thing where he's tied up and I'm torturing him. He's just making up all of that dialogue, and it's just hysterical. And it was just giving me so many other things just to work off of. And so we just played and played and played, and I just had so much fun with that.
Yeah, that scene felt really natural. You could tell that you guys were having fun, and it didn't feel like stunt casting or anything like that. It really felt like it fit within the film. So yeah, good stuff. Anyone else?
Project like this.
I just responded to an open call. As simple as that. They posted a notice on Actors Access, and they looked for a tall, skinny guy to play, a tall, skinny guy with like experience doing physical comedy or clowning to play Art. And I knew the character from All Hallows Eve, and I was like, oh my God, there's so much I could do with that guy. I could make him like to an evil Mr. Bean. And like, let's do this. And my agent actually fought me on it. She did not want me to audition for it because it was such a low budget independent film. And she's like, no, but I had never done film work before, so I wanted experience in front of a camera just to learn what it was like to be on a set. And I was like, this would be great for a resume. And I had no idea it was going to become this, because we made the first film on $35,000, so it's unheard of. None of us got paid.
We had 5 people. We had 5 people working
5
on the
people
set.
on the crew.
Yeah.
It was a very, very small production. We didn't expect it to like rocket off like it has.
Oh, I took the film thinking no one was ever going to see it.
That's how I felt with doing the nude scene. I was like, no one's gonna see this.
I was like, whatever.
Oh boy.
Paycheck.
Now everybody's seen my ass.
I've seen it too many times.
Ash, we'll come back to you.
What scene took the most takes, and how slippery was the bathroom?
Oh my God, what scene took the most takes? Because Damien is, I would say the ending of part 3, that whole entire, that was a lot of setups.
We didn't really have many takes because we didn't have a lot of time. We were always trying to, these scenes, what would take, like, because Damien likes to show everything. And what would normally take another film a couple of days to film, maybe even, it just takes us triple the time. So we had a lot of setups, but we didn't have a lot of takes. So I feel like, I mean, there was like, but definitely to your point, the final scene, there was so many different setups, and there was so many different, because there's a lot of dialogue in that scene.
Different angles too that we were having to film at. So I know you had to do so many different angles of just doing the photos.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then me slapping Lauren constantly. I was like, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, he
sorry.
slapped her like over 20 times.
Oh my God, I felt so bad for her. I was like, and that was something Damien added last second too. He's like, this is getting way too morose and serious, and I think people are gonna slit their wrists. So we need to do something to add some levity. So just slap her every time you go by her. It's like literal slapstick comedy. It was like, this is insane, but it worked, and I get that's a lot of people love me slapping Sienna.
Oh yeah.
I'm like, just the simple things, really.
How many more Terrifier movies will there be?
I don't really know for sure, but I think Damien's talking, at least right now, part 4 is going to be the end of at least the story arc that we're doing right now, especially like the Sienna story. But there's always possibilities that we could return and do more with it, because he's always got ideas, and if he comes up with a fun idea, or he just needs another house in the Hamptons or something like that.
10, 12, 20
Oh yeah, but I know his big thing was that he wanted to actually have from part 1 when we started talking about doing the sequel, because we were like, maybe we'll do a sequel to this while we were filming part 1, but we didn't know. But he was saying if we are going to do sequels, he wanted to actually have a story arc that he wanted to tell, and actually have a definite cut off part, so it doesn't just drag on forever and ever and ever and ever, and just goes off to zany, crazy places like into space or something like that. So
he squashed that rumor.
Yeah, he wanted to have at least a definitive end at one point, and that's something we talked about too. Is like, how do we end this, and do we end it in a finite way, or could there be a way that we could still bring him back if we choose to? So I don't know how he's ending it yet. So
we know nothing.
We know absolutely nothing.
I can like guess David and Lauren will be in it, but other than that, I don't
know. I just know I'm on a bus.
Yeah, and by the end of it, you're on a bus. You don't know where you start though.
And I don't know where I start. And because he's wanting to keep everything a surprise for us when he gives us the script once he's finished writing those. So it's like, he has told me, of course, that they're going to explore his origin at the beginning of the movie, and he's told me that the beginning and the ending of the movie are both batshit crazy, insane, and fun. And I'm gonna love that. He says basically you're gonna be part 2 on steroids.
And my joke is it's gonna be 11 hours long.
Yeah.
So you said during the Santa Claus bar scene, you got to play around and like the slap on the head was improv. How much of Art's mannerisms is scripted or improv? Like, what's the balance, like reactions? Is that you doing it in the moment, or is that like scripted where he's got it?
He has like especially when it comes more to like the kill scenes, he's got that pretty much scripted out how he wants those kills to go down. But sometimes he still allows me to have some freedom, and like when I smell the foot, that was just in the moment thing I did. Like, that's funny. We'll keep that. But like a lot of the other stuff, like the costume shop scene, the bar scene, or the mall scene, any of those scenes where Art's just fucking around with people, that's just him just like, okay, he gives like me a bare bones description of the scene, and he's like, we'll figure it out once we got on set and see what happens here, and he usually lets me play and stuff like that. But like a lot of the mannerisms came from myself, because that's something we discovered like early on in filming part 1. And I'm glad we filmed the pizzeria scene very early on, because that really helped cement where Art was going to live, because it helped me figure out the movements to the character, and all because it basically came to where I just jump up and go off to the bathroom, and I just had this little happy little jaunt to him. James like, I like that. I never really thought of that for the character, but that works. Keep that attitude for the character from now on. I'm like, okay. And so I've just kind of added that playfulness to the character, because I feel like that helps differentiate him from all these other silent villains that have come before him. He has this playful, jovial nature to him. So he's doing these horrible things, but he's having fun while doing it. He's laughing his ass off at everything. And I think that adds an extra layer of funness to his character that you don't really see in a lot of horror movies. I think for me is my fart the clown moment in part 2.
I've heard about this.
Yeah, it's like when I'm clubbing Brooke, I was rearing back with the club and I just whoop, and I'm like whoops, and I thought no one heard me because I was like, okay, that was a silent one. I think just a little bit of squeak that came out, but like everybody's just laughing their heads off. And I'm like, oh no, everybody heard that. And that just got to be an ongoing joke on set. Was like, oh, it's Fart the Clown over here. But then Elliot outdid me in the farts on set. But it wasn't really a blooper moment. It was just something he just...
Yeah, you like opened the gate.
He just opened the gate one night, and we're sitting... It was when he's doing the whole scene where he's supposed to shoot me with a shotgun, and we're just waiting for them to set up the shot and everything. And we're both exhausted. It's about 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. And he's just behind... This is when he was like 15 at the time. And he's just behind me, and he's like... Hey, Dave. I'm like, yeah, buddy. And he's whoosh. The sound that it shook the mat I was on. I was like, holy
so happy
crap!
I was not involved in any of
Yeah,
this.
that was funny. And his dad's behind him. That's my boy.
Oh god.
I was like, oh, I was like, boy, he outdid everybody. So good old Elliot.
I think when we were filming the final scene, the funniest one of the funniest moments was I would be doing these really intense scenes with like Margaret Ann or Antonella or even Lauren, and my fingernails were not glued on, so they would just fall off and get stuck in their hair, and then we'd have to like call cut and then like try to regroup, and it was just like such a, because you're so serious and then all of a sudden you're like so yeah, those are probably fun moments. Yeah.
We've got a question in the back. Oh, I'll come back to you guys. Don't worry.
You've been playing art for so long now. Do you find yourself like in just day-to-day life kind of adopting his mannerisms? Like you're working on
Oh, is that Bob? Is that a yes or no, Bob? Oh,
Yeah, I have my moments. I'm not like skinning by anybody alive. It's more just goofier moments and stuff like that. That's but yeah. So yeah, there's a little bit of him that lives inside of me, I think. So yeah, I especially.
Like what?
I love to scare the crap out of people too, so that's always fun for me. It's fun. I like to sneak up behind people and like growl in their ear because no one ever expects a in their ear. I've scared so many people. I'm amazed.
It's not an art thing because you can't growl.
Oh, I know, but still, it's an art thing. You would definitely sneak up and scare people. Like, I do it to Lauren all the time.
You do it to me.
Yeah, I do it. Yeah, but you don't have a black belt like Lauren has. So I've been really risking my life every time I do that.
It's true.
Yeah.
I would love to know what you guys think, whether, since movies these days are being made for hundreds of millions of dollars, whether it's better that the Terrifier movies themselves stay more of a conservative budget. Obviously you want to get paid more, but would you think it's better if it stays on a smaller budget and conserves that more grounded nature that it has, or go for a higher budget and try to go outrageous in CGI and even stay real to the actual prosthetics?
I like that question.
That is a good question. I mean, I would like to have a larger budget, but I don't think we would need to have to make these films on anything more than $30 million.
Like $30 million?
Well, 30 million. But I'm like, it'd be nice to have a bigger payday.
I just want a makeup chair, for 6 to 8 hours. A makeup chair would have been nice.
A honey wagon would be nice, something like that. But I'm like, but that's the thing. It's like I won't want to see like all that money going to CGI or anything like that. I think that's where you lose it. I think that's where Hollywood's been losing it a lot lately. It's like they've been putting these like $200+ million movies out, and so all that's going to CGI, or just like giving one actor just a ridiculous payday or something like that. But it's lost a lot of the magic there, because I think there's something very special about practical effects, and as an actor, I much prefer practical effects because it gives us something to react off of. You react, your body reacts naturally to things that way that you just can't replicate with CG. Just being hit with blood, the way your body will flinch to that is totally natural. You can't do that with CG, and CG blood always looks horrible. I don't care how far we've been advancing with CG. CG blood always looks fake, and we use so much fake blood, and yeah, it sucks at times because it gets really cold and really sticky, but it looks so much better, and that's what I think would be lost if we were trying to make these movies for hundreds of millions of dollars. I think so much of what makes it special would be lost, because when you have a smaller budget, a lot of you have to rely on ingenuity to find ways to deal with your problems.
Creativity.
You have to get really creative with things, and I think that's where a lot of the magic for these films has come from, is the creative things we've done to accomplish what we have.
Yeah, I've come from independent filmmaking. I started it as an actor. I produced in it. I'm a writer and a director now, and I love independent filmmaking. I think there's a freedom that you get when you're making films, especially the passion that comes with it. I mean, it's always nice to be able to pay people really well and to have all the accommodations, but David commented on all the CGI and the practical effects aspects, but even just like the fact that we've remained independent and being able to go and do pickup shots and come back and edit, and also just, David's been able to explore in ways that I think if you're in a larger budget and have financiers and, most of the time directors in those systems don't really have final cut, and you don't get to make usually the film that is the director's vision. So as much as we all like to be comfortable, we also love our art, and that was not even a pun. I wasn't trying to make a joke about that. That was weird. I said it, and I was like, God damn it, I can't escape it. But we are artists first and foremost, and that freedom is so important to ultimately, what we're trying to achieve.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like when we were making in pre-production for Part 3, the big studios approached Damien for Part 3. Like all of the big studios were throwing money at him, and he turned them all down. Because they wanted to have control over everything, and
I think they wanted to potentially recast.
And they wanted to reboot
and reshoot. And that's a testament to Damien, and I have a lot of respect for Damien, a lot of love for Damien, because he is an artist through and through, and he said it to me before, and I believe it. He's never done it for the money, and that's I believe why we have what we have, and I think it's really rare to find individuals like that who would turn a paycheck down like that, because I don't know if I would have. I mean,
it's a big
very
risk.
tempting.
It's very, but I think it's paid off because we were allowed to make the film we wanted to make. I mean, I know the studios, some of them were not even going to allow him to do the opening scene, which is one of probably, and I'm trying not to be, show favoritism, but I'm like, I think it's one of my favorite opening scenes I've seen to a horror film.
It's
Part
one of
3.
mine, yeah.
I